Well, 13 hours to go until a ceasefire in the current Middle East conflict, but the fighting and the deaths have continued on both sides today. Israeli warplanes have hit Beirut more than 20 times, and in the last hour, the northern Israeli city of Haifa has been hit by Hezbollah rockets once again. It comes just hours after the Israeli cabinet agreed to go along with the UN ceasefire at dawn tomorrow. But divisions in the Lebanese cabinet over the disarming of Hezbollah has led to the indefinite postponement of a crucial meeting this afternoon. Well, witnesses say 20 explosions in southern Beirut have killed at least 2 people, both children. Airstrikes destroyed a residential area where 6 families are thought to have been living. 7 Israeli soldiers are also reported to have died in clashes with Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. At least 8 people died in attacks around Tyre. 1 was a Lebanese soldier. In the Bekaa Valley, airstrikes are reported to have killed more than 7 people. 2 there were Lebanese soldiers. And on the other side of the border, over 200 rockets have hit Israel. An elderly man died in a Hezbollah rocket attack in the northern Israeli town of Yara. The militant group have also struck Shlomi, Haifa and Kiryat Shimona. Up to 18 people were injured in those attacks.
A ceasefire is imminent, but for now the firing hasn't ceased. As Israel's cabinet rubber-stamped the UN resolution, reports of 20 explosions rocking Beirut in just 2 minutes. Shelling thought to have come from Israeli warships. Israeli ministers met for 5 hours, 24 votes in favour, none against, just 1 abstention. After the vote, Israel's foreign minister made her position clear. Israeli troops will leave Lebanon once the Lebanese army and UN force has moved in. And Israel believes the ceasefire will lead in the end to the disarming of Hezbollah.
We pull back incrementally to the international frontier. We coordinate that pull-out with the Lebanese army and with the international forces. The idea is not to pull out in a fashion that will create a vacuum and allow Hezbollah to exploit that vacuum and move back in. The idea is to have this coordinated pull-out. Now, if in the framework of that Hezbollah attacks Israel, that's totally against what's written in the UN resolution. That's a violation of that resolution. And of course, Israel will be entitled to respond.
Earlier, the word from the UN was the time frame is now in place.
Preferably, the fighting should stop now, to respect the spirit and intent of the Council decision, the object of which was to save civilian lives, to spare the pain, the suffering that the civilians on both sides are living through.
But neither party is likely to stop fighting ahead of the deadline or before the UN force arrives. Neither can afford to say they have lost. So the biggest military operation of its kind in Israel's history continues. These Israeli troops pray as the army fights to secure the area up to the Litani River. But despite their prayers, there are heavy losses. More Israeli soldiers have been killed and injured. Those wounded are rushed to safety as quickly as possible. There are many Lebanese casualties as well. Here in the Bekaa Valley, homes and vehicles are destroyed as Israel continues its pounding of what it says are Hezbollah positions. All now agree the ceasefire must happen. Lebanon's Prime Minister has called the UN plan a triumph for Lebanese diplomacy.
There won't be any weapons in the country, starting from the area, which is the zone that will be south of the Litani. There won't be any weapons other than the weapons of the central government.
Cracks, though, are beginning to show. Lebanon's government is reportedly divided about Hezbollah's disarmament. Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah says it will respect the ceasefire, but will continue the fight while Israeli troops remain in southern Lebanon. It's more than 4 weeks since 2 Israeli soldiers were kidnapped by Hezbollah. Israel said and should be released unconditionally. In the meantime, the guns and rockets are not yet silent. It will be a fragile ceasefire at best. Jonathan Samuels, Sky News, Jerusalem.